You're watching another edition of the NFL Daily Mailbag. I am Will Scott answering your questions live here on NFL Daily. Plenty to discuss. We're in the middle of NFL free agency, NFL draft coming up next month as well. Our first question comes in from RC Plane Builder 2 saying, should Atlanta get Yannick Ngakoue and OBJ? They should pursue both. I don't know if OBJ has interest in going to Atlanta. I feel like he's going to want to go to a proven contender. But Atlanta's made some really good moves, specifically on defense this offseason. They went out and got Jesse Bates, which was huge. So maybe Ngakoue on that defensive line is going to be their next move. And we both know RC Plane Builder 2. Great app, by the way. That they need wide receiver help. I would say McCole Hardman is a more realistic name there, though, than OBJ. Carter Reimer, what's up, man? Good to see you again. What are some free agents Miami could sign? Well, Dalton Schultz just went to Houston. I didn't see that coming. I would have said Schultz maybe. I feel like the Dolphins are mainly done defensively. I think if they make some more moves, it's going to be done on offense. Maybe the offensive line. They got to get a right tackle, Carter. So you look at some of the guys that are still available at the time we're filming this video. George Fant is a name that has been linked there. I think there's some better options, though, like Isaiah Wynn and Cameron Fleming. Jewelor, what should the Packers do at quarterback if Aaron Rodgers leaves for the Jets? Well, the plan is pretty simple. Jordan Love is going to be the guy. They want to give Jordan Love a shot. So there's no question that he's going to be the starting quarterback next year if Aaron Rodgers leaves. In all likelihood, Aaron Rodgers is gone. He's already said he wants to play for the Jets. They're just ironing out the trade compensation, whether it's a first-round pick or not. The question the Packers are going to have, though, here is whether or not to pick up the fifth-year option. Because you haven't seen Jordan Love play a whole lot. You want to guarantee him $23 million in 2024, but the risk with not picking up that option is what if he has this amazing year, then he becomes a free agent next year. You could always tag him. So if I was the Packers, I probably would not pick up the option, and I would tag him if need be after next season if he has a good year. Bolden Bradley, should the Colts go after Lamar? That's an interesting question. The Colts are considered by some people to be a sleeper team for Lamar Jackson, including Stephen Holder of ESPN. Here is what he said. If the 26-year-old former MVP leaves Baltimore, there are reasons to believe the Colts would be a good fit. Owner Jim Irsay is intent on solving a quarterback problem that's defined Indianapolis for the past 5 years, and he's proved willing to pay top dollar. And I agree. I think the Colts should consider this. I really do. Because they've had quarterback issues ever since Andrew Luck retired. They have not gotten it right. Jacoby Brissett was not the guy. Then they went to Carson Wentz. He was not the guy. Before that, or I should say after that, Matt Ryan. Phillip Rivers was the one good quarterback they've had, but he was just a one-year rental because he retired. So Lamar Jackson's a proven star quarterback in this league. He's won an MVP. It'd be tough to part with the number 4 overall pick, but the Colts need to do everything they can to somehow land Lamar Jackson here. Again, Lamar is he was placed on the non-restricted tag, so he can talk with other teams, but whoever signs him, if Baltimore does not match, would have to give up 2 first-round picks. Should the Colts trade for Lamar Jackson? Type T for trade or type P for pass down in the comment section. Go down and let me know. Should the Colts bring Lamar to the Horseshoe over there in Indianapolis? Anthony saying, who will the Chiefs sign at receiver? That's a great question. McCole Hardman's still available. You could bring him back. Juju's gone. OBJ is certainly a name to watch for the Chiefs. I think that makes a lot of sense for both sides because you need another weapon for Patrick Mahomes, and OBJ wants to play for a contender. So I'd be looking out for OBJ. That would be my main name to watch right now. You could trade for DeAndre Hopkins as well. That's a possibility. Whittle and Witt, we appreciate the question. Who is the 5th and 6th quarterback in the NFL draft? Well, I think the top 2 are pretty clear, Windland. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, right? Those are my top 2. After that, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. those are the top 4, and I think all 4 of those guys are going to be top 10 picks. Then it gets a little bit dicey. Who's going to be taken after that? I would say Tanner McKee is a name to watch there. Is the 5th quarterback taken? Hendon Hooker might be the 6th quarterback taken. I would take Hendon Hooker over some of the guys I just named, though. I would take him over Will Levis, quite frankly. I understand the ACL concern. He tore his ACL, but he just had a much better year at Tennessee than Will Levis had at Kentucky. And I'm not hating on Will Levis. I still think he has potential. I'll say this, Winland, a name that I really like. It's not being talked about. Jay Canner of Fresno State. I named him a top 5 college quarterback coming into this year. Had a great year at Fresno, great career there, and he was the Senior Bowl MVP. Watch out for Jay Canner. He's going to be a steal. Stephen Rimmer, what will the Packers get for Aaron Rodgers? Well, there's been some conflicting reports about that, Stephen. Some people saying that, they want 2 first-round picks, maybe just 1 first-round pick. I think ultimately they're going to get a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick for Aaron Rodgers. And look, Rodgers might only play 1 or 2 more seasons. I don't think the Jets are going to give up a first-round pick for him. But if the Packers, if the controls here, they're controlling the situation. So we'll ultimately see what happens. If you are a fan of the NFL Draft and specifically NFL Draft videos, be sure to subscribe to our brand new NFL Draft channel. Trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. We're almost there. YouTube.com/chatNFL. Help us reach 3,000 subscribers on our NFL Draft channel. The sublink is in the comments and the description of today's video. Fins Fan 2023 saying, candidates for comeback player of the year this coming year. That's an interesting question. I feel like they need to have a more strict definition of comeback player of the year. And here's why. Because Geno Smith won it last year, and he was very deserving. But he wasn't coming back from an injury, right? He was just coming back from not being a relevant player in the league for the past 10 years. You could have made a very strong argument that Saquon Barkley deserved that award. So I would answer that question by saying, what's the definition of comeback player of the year? That I don't know. But I will say this. Geno was deserving, but if you are going to, give it to a guy that's coming off an injury, I would say Saquon Barkley. But in terms of my prediction for comeback player of the year next year, and if he is just as productive as he was last year, and if he's good enough to play, and that's a big if, and he needs to take all the time he needs to get healthy, it should be Damar Hamlin. If Damar Hamlin steps foot on a football field next year and is able to play in the NFL again, and if he might not want to, I don't know. He's obviously, dealing with getting healthy. Then he should absolutely be the comeback player of the year. TWXST Music. We appreciate the question. Do you think the Falcons solidify wide receiver 2 with Mack Hollins, or do they draft a wide receiver? Yeah, they signed Mack Hollins. Or do they draft a wide receiver in the draft? I wouldn't rule out them signing a guy like McCole Hardman still. I mean, Mack Hollins is a good pickup, but I wouldn't rule them out. I wouldn't rule them out of signing another wide receiver. In terms of the draft, yeah, I could see the Falcons drafting a wide receiver. This Mack Hollins signing does not mean that they're not going to pursue another wide receiver and they're not going to draft a wide receiver. So that's a good question, but I certainly expect them to continue to add to that room. They need some more depth there. Be sure to subscribe for more NFL coverage, almost at 331,000 subscribers. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. We go live multiple times a week. We get you guys videos every single day on the National Football League, even in the offseason. Chris Barber, who do you think is coming out on top in the NFC South? That's a great question. Panthers have gotten a lot better. Adam Thielen was a good pickup. They're going to figure out the quarterback situation. They're trading up to number 1. I would still say the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr is a stellar pickup. Some people might say stellar. When you consider the quarterback play that the Saints have had in the last 2 years, yeah, that's a big upgrade for New Orleans, getting a Derek Carr. So I've liked what they've done this offseason. They've lost a few guys defensively, but I think the Saints are the favorites. So, but watch out for Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield was a sneaky good signing. CC Hoop 97. Is Anthony Richardson still going to the Ravens? No, I don't think that's going to happen. The Ravens apparently have interest in him, but Anthony Richardson is going to be a top 5 pick. I don't see how the Ravens can move up that high. Now, if one of the teams that might trade out of the top 5, Arizona Cardinals, they're at 3, it would take a lot. It would take a lot to move up. But we'll see. You never know. Ernest the Ghost saying, who's going to be the number 1 pick? It's a great question. Some of you all have been asking me of that on our last couple shows. I think it's going to be C.J. Stroud. I really do. Based on what I've been seeing and hearing, it feels like they traded up because they really like C.J. Stroud. They're going to do their due diligence. They're going to look at Richardson. They're going to look at Stroud. They're going to look at Young. Probably decide between one of those 3 guys. But I do believe C.J. Stroud will be a Carolina Panther. Who will be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft? Go down in the comment section. Let me know who's going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. I say C.J. Stroud. What say you? Let me know down in the comment section. Juan Hernandez. Bobby Wagner to the Raiders. What do you think? I think the Raiders are a top 3 contender. I think the Cowboys are still in it. I think the Dolphins might still be in it, but the Raiders are absolutely up there. I could absolutely see it. I think it makes a lot of sense. They could use some help at linebacker. I could see Bobby Wagner going to the Raiders. Randy Fry, who takes a chance on Hendon Hooker? I would say New Orleans, but they signed Derek Carr, so it's not going to be them. Oh, man, maybe Baltimore. I could see Baltimore taking him around too. If Lamar Jackson does not come back, obviously. Baltimore is a sleeper team to watch there for Hendon Hooker. Maybe the Bucs, but they signed Baker, so we'll see. I think Baltimore is a sleeper team to watch there for Hendon Hooker. And I really like Hendon. He's QB3 for me in this draft, only behind Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud.